Hi Leo, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol and this is going to be a general reading for you, Leo. There is no date on the reading because I trust that when it comes to you, it's meant for you. And so we're going to be doing a reading today called Conquer Your Fears. We're living in times right now where a lot of us are feeling a lot of fear. And I know myself, I've been feeling a great deal of anxiety as well as some paralysis around, you have the Ace of Cups here, which is interesting. It came from another deck. So I'll just keep that out over there to see if it means anything. But yeah, so I've been feeling some real paralysis around, you know, what can I do? And just feeling this incredible anxiety in my system. And I knew this, there's some real fear showing up. And so for me, when I feel these big emotions like that, I know that yes, it's because of what's happening in the world, but I also know that it's triggering something in my own system. And so to me, that tells me that, okay, this fear of mine's affecting everything. It's triggering me. And so it's something I need to look at. There's something from my childhood or my adolescence where this fear is coming up. And I need to look at this because I need to heal. And so we're going to look at today where's your fear showing up in your life and what situation right now. And then we're going to look at how you block it, because that's what we do. When it shows up, we want to push it down. We want to just get on with our life, but it's really hard when you've got this fear sitting. It's like it's paralyzing you, right? And then we're going to look at what the origin is. So where's it coming from in our childhood, adolescence? You know, what went on when we were younger? So we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into your unconscious to see where it's coming from. And then we're going to look at how you can begin to release this fear. So that's going to be some advice from the tarot. And remember this, healing yourself is a journey. It's a process. So this reading won't provide a magical pill for you, but it's definitely going to get you on your way to kind of bring awareness to something that's going on in your system. I'm going to be using the Tarot Grand Luxe to begin with. Pull four cards from that. And then I'm going to pull some clarifiers from the Light Seers deck. I'm going to see, I haven't used that deck in a while, so we're going to see how that works out. So I'm going to put you on speed dial for a minute, and I'll be back in a few seconds. Okay, I'm back. So Leo, I talked about this Ace of Cups that kind of somehow got into this deck, and it's interesting because in number 2, how are you blocking this fear? You have 3 cups. So definitely there's a cup theme going on for blocking, and cups is all about your emotions. So, you know, I'm thinking there's some real blocking of some emotions here. I mean, we are talking about fear. And then in your origin of this fear, you have all swords energy, and that's real mental energy. And that's going to be sitting, you know, in your unconscious with as a child, your adolescence. So we're going to look at that. Anyway, so let's begin with where's fear showing up in your life. Now you have a story here as clarifiers. You have 5 clarifiers. Usually I ask for 2, but a few of them popped out at the end. And when I shuffle, and if I have 2 cards that will show up like this, and I can't shuffle anymore, then I know that I have to take them. And that's what happened with it. It just wanted to come out. So is your fear showing up, Leo? Well, you start off with the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of my deck there's 4 of them. And she represents the feminine side to us. We all have a feminine side and a masculine side. It has nothing to do with gender. And so the feminine has these qualities. In this particular case, this feminine has the sword. And it's the sword of truth, of authenticity. And swords is all about also your mental energy and what these thoughts that you tell yourself, right? And so I think here that there's maybe some thoughts that are going on in your head about your truth and things that you're telling yourself that aren't really true, maybe. And she's the queen that's going to cut through the bullshit. And so it's like, okay, what are you telling yourself? about these fears, Leo. Like you have this fear in your system, and what's the truth here behind these fears? And she's blocked, so maybe you're feeling a bit of hopelessness, and maybe you're feeling some ungrounded anger, you know. So maybe if you're someone that just sometimes gets angry at people and you don't mean it, it just comes out and you wish you could take it back, and you say things and you didn't mean it. That's ungrounded anger. And so, I mean, anger is a great emotion as long as it's grounded. And I spew out all my anger on my computer, and you know, you can talk to, and that really helps you so that when it comes time when you do get angry, you don't end up getting angry with people and regret it. And I don't know why I said all that. For some reason, maybe you can relate to that. But yeah, so here you're sitting with this, you know, what's the truth here about this fear? Because, you know, you have this Ten of Cups right behind it. And the Ten of Cups is the last pip card in the cups. And cups, we've been talking about cups here. This Ace of Cups that came in from somewhere. Cups is about having that full range of emotion. And the feminine side of us is all about feeling all of our emotions, right? Being able to, when emotions come into our system, like fear, we think, oh, well, I have this fear. What am I going to do with it? And so you're able to process it, feel it, process it, and it moves out. And so I think here that there's this real, like, what are you telling yourself about, you know, feeling all your emotions, and in particular this fear that's coming out here. So I think there is, there's some real block to your healing. So I think, because the Star card is about healing, but if it's in reverse, then that tells me that there's some blocks here. And so because of this Queen that has shown up, this Queen of Swords, this feminine part of you, this wanting to get back to your authenticity and who you really are, but because you you know, maybe don't have access to all of your emotions, or you don't take the opportunity to feel all of your emotions, it really blocks your healing. And the Page of Swords comes up next, and again we have there's 3 swords in this row. So swords and cups are prevalent here. The Page of Swords represents, my pages in my deck are younger children. And we can have more than one inner child in us. I know mainstream psychology says we just have one, but this particular Page of Swords right here, believe it or not, when we were younger, so this is your younger child, your inner child, when they were 4, 5, 6 years old, they knew who they were. They knew who their authentic self was. And that is sitting here, and it's showing up. It's like there's this inner child of yours. Whenever a page shows up, it says it needs healing. There's a part of you that needs healing as far as your authenticity and who you are. And, you know, it came up with the Queen of Swords, and now it's coming up with this inner child that needs healing. And, you know, we're supposed to, well, when our inner children come up in the readings, it's like our inner children need to be heard. We need to let them have a voice, and then they need to express their emotions. And so you have, I think, a blocked inner child here that holds your authenticity and who you are. And which means, as I'm going to say, without even looking at, you know, this part over here, number 3, the origin of this fear, I think there's a fear of you from really going towards who you really are, discovering who you really are, finding out who that authentic self is, because there's a part of you that needs healing in regards to that. And these last few cards that came out that said, you know, you're coming out, you know, are the 8 of Swords. And that's in reverse. The 8 of Swords in an upright position speaks about that individual that feels like she's all tied up, that she's trapped that she can't get away, and that's blocked right now. And so maybe, you know, you are so feeling quite trapped in this. I could just feel like this first part of this top row is like there's this authentic self, this part of you that wants to come out. And there's an inner child here that's holding something about your authentic self that you need to get to. But yet, of course, we're talking about fear here. So there's a fear around getting to this part. And the Eight of Swords is really saying, like, almost to a point where I think this fear is, like, in an upright position. This card, the Eight of Swords, says you can get out. And it's like, you don't think you can get out. You do not think it. You don't see a way out of this. You do not see a way out of this. I think this fear is so crippling for you and paralyzing for you that you don't see a way out. That's how big this fear is that's coming into your system right now. And it all has to do with underneath it. It's that fear of finding out something about the real you. That is fascinating. It's taken me a bit to get to it, but it's like, and I knew it would. When I get 5 cards like that, it's like, okay, this is a story I have to try to figure out. And then the last card that comes in is the Empress card, and she's number 3 in the Major Arcana. Beautiful card. She represents the second part of the feminine energy, feminine archetype in the Major Arcana. And she's all about emotions. She lives her life from a very creative, very emotional part of her where she makes all her decisions from that. She's very grounded, and she's in reverse here. And so I see here that part of you, of feeling your emotions, of being in your body, being very grounded. It's very much blocked because you're paralyzed, and that's how much, when we become that paralyzed and that much fear is coming up in our system, when we've got this part of us that's bursting to come out here, that's wanting to say, listen, Leo, there's a part of you that you need to find out about, that's holding, that needs healing in regards to your authenticity, but you are blocking it and feeling so trapped right now. I'm going to say paralyzed, because that's what fear, there's this huge fear to even going there. So now that we have that first line, how are you blocking your fear? This fear of figuring out, who you are. And, I think this is where this Ace of Cups, to be honest with you, is coming in, this random card that comes in here, because you're ending with the Empress in reverse, and I said all your emotions are blocked. You're not even wanting to go there. And this is the offer from the universe that says, we're going to have this as our overriding energy, where here's the offer to feel again. Here's a gift from the universe offering you a cup of emotions that says, I think it's time to feel. I think it's time to start feeling and getting in touch with your emotions, and that means going into our body. And so, how are you blocking the fear of finding out who this authentic self is? And that's where that fear is. You have the 7 of Cups in a sideways position. In an upright position, you have all these beautiful cups. It's almost dreamy, right? It's almost really dreamy. I like to look at this, as and you're kind of, here's a castle in the background, and you're looking at this picture and you're seeing all these beautiful golden cups, like real distraction here. You can't even really see the background, but it's just like all these things on offer. You're very distracted. I look at this because this is a healing channel, healing yourself. It's sideways here. I'm saying here that, I think you're distracted a lot, or you're dissociated. And which means that if you are distracted or dissociated, whatever one it is, or it could be a combination, it really means that you're very much up in your head. Now, the ego self, our ego will keep us up in our head. Because if there is some real fear coming up in our system, our ego self is normally a scared part. And so the ego self is scared of this fear that's sitting in your system that's coming up here, of you like trying to figure out, who you really are and getting back to your authenticity. And so they will very much keep you up in your head because there's no emotions in your head. And so that's a safe place for you to go. And it'll keep you there. And we don't realize it. It's like, okay, why can't I reach some of these emotions? Why don't I want to go to this? There's something here that it wants to come out. My Page of Swords wants to tell me something about myself. My inner child is wanting to say, like, there's some healing here. There's something you need to know about yourself. And yet our ego selves go, no, don't go there. No, I'm scared. No. And that's what's happening with you. And that's how you're blocking it. When the Three of Cups comes, 2 cup cards come right after that. So you have 3 cup cards, which I said earlier, about emotions. So you're blocking those emotions. Your ego is. 3 of Cups is a celebration of our feminine energy and our feminine part of us. And that is the Empress here. Our emotions, feeling our emotions, being grounded in our body, living from our body, being embodied. That's what this is right here. But you're very much distracted and dissociated in your head. And so there's not a part of you that wants to even associate with your body. And you forget about it, right? Because that's where all your emotions are. And then the 8 of Cups is in reverse. The 8 of Cups talks about this individual that looks like they're walking away from the cup, right? It looks like they're walking away from their emotions. They're just leaving it behind. But actually what they're doing is they're walking away to do that inward journey, to go into their body and to ground into their body and to start to feel those emotions. But it's blocked. And so there is not one part of you. Your ego is blocking you from even wanting, from going back into your body. Don't go there. Big warning sign. I think of the robot on Will Robinson. I'm dating myself. Lost in Space. When I was younger, I'd come home from school and watch that stupid show. And the robot would go, danger, danger, danger. And that's what I see here is like, don't you go near these emotions. There's a huge fear to feeling again. There's something about your authentic self. And now we're going to go and find out what it is. I love this part because this is the origin of this fear. What is this fear? Why are you so scared to get back in your body and to feel, to get at this fear? Where is it coming from? There's something here. And so... oh, you have the Ace of Swords here. And so, didn't we talk about authenticity in the beginning? Yeah, the Queen of Swords here, right? Your authentic self. Well, guess what's buried in your shadow? Guess what's buried in your unconscious? Guess what you put away when you were younger? At 4, 5, 6 years old, we knew who we were. We were authentic until we were told different things about ourselves. And so you buried the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is the sword of truth. It's the sword of authenticity. And it's the beginning. It's the beginning where you knew who you were. You buried it. Because you weren't allowed to be you when you were younger. And guess why you weren't allowed to be you? Here's the 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords is this individual that's being taken away by these crows, being to a safer place. There's water here. When there's water in a card, it talks about emotions. It was not safe for you when you were younger to be authentic and to use all your emotions. 10 of Cups. Not safe for you, right? That's where that came from. And so when you're being asked now to go in your body and feel where this fear is coming from, what's the fear here? Well, the fear is the fact that you weren't safe to feel when you were younger. And guess what? You still think that your your ego self, who's petrified of you to go into your body, knows when you were younger, it would have protected you. It would have brought you to a place of safety. If you had these big emotions of fear when you were younger, not being able to feel all your emotions, it would have dissociated you and put you up in your head, because that's where it would have been safe for you, because your emotions aren't in your head, they're in your body. Your ego self would have dissociated you and taken you right out of your body. Here's the seven of cups here. I talked about dissociation and how you're distracted, and that's how you block. You learn to block your emotions. You learn to dissociate from your emotions when you were younger. Your ego self, which is a part of you, did that for you to keep you safe. Here's the safety card. And now it's continuing to block you again, because the ego self is a very scared part of us. It doesn't know that you're an adult now. It still thinks you're a child. And so it continues to repeat these patterns until we go back and heal it. And we kind of teach the ego and says, I'm an adult now. I'm going to handle these big emotions. I couldn't handle it when I was younger. I get it. Thank you very much, ego self, for helping me when I was younger. But you know what? I'm an adult now. It's time for me to feel these emotions, this 10-cup range of emotions here. And so the Two of Swords comes in as the last card for you, for your unconscious. And the Two of Swords, another sword card. This is you when you were younger. You did not feel safe to be yourself, right? You didn't feel safe to be yourself. And so what did you do? Well, the Swords talks about our mental thoughts and these things we think about yourself. Well, look at this individual. And this is number 2 out of 10 cards, the pip cards. And this is right at the beginning. This is what happened to you at the beginning when you were younger. You put a blindfold on. You have all these things that are said to you. Well, you know what you did? You blocked them all out. Shut your mind down. In the background, there's some water usually. Well, we'll say there's some water back there, but anything to do with emotions, you shut them out. You were put right up, and you went right up in your head, because that was the safe place to go. It was not safe for you to be in your body when you were younger. And so when I'm sitting here, there's a call for you that tells you to, you need to get back in your body and start to feel some of these emotions and start to feel this fear and where it's coming from. It's like, no freaking way am I going there. Your ego self is keeping you up in your head and saying, we are not going there because it's not safe. And maybe it is safe for you now. Like I said, but it still thinks you're in your childhood. And so how do you begin to release this fear? You've got this ego self of yours that's blocking it. And so you get, I think there might have been another card here. I'm wondering if there was. Because I don't know why. I only have one card. But we're just going to read these 2. And maybe we'll see if we have another one. And maybe I put it somewhere. I don't know why there's only one. Usually there's 2. I can take another one. Okay, so how can you begin to release this fear? Well, you have the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups, the Knight is your freedom fighter. It's a freedom fighter. We all have this freedom fighter. It's that part of you that wants to be authentic. It's an adolescent part. Think of an adolescent, and all they want to do is they want to be themselves. They want to be free to do what they want to do. So it's this part of you that's inside that's wanting to break free, to go towards their authentic self, wants to have authentic relationships. It's the cup, right? It wants to bring love into their life. It wants to be able to feel. You have this offer right here from the universe to feel. There's this part of you that wants to, because feeling is how we heal, and it moves us closer to who we really are, our authentic self. And so maybe you feel sometimes very hopeless. We can feel very hopeless because we have this part of us that has been trying all our life to get back to who we are, to get back to our authentic self. but you have this fear in you to feel. And then you have the Chariot card. And the Chariot card is a call for you to go inwards. This individual has been trying so long to control these two horses right here. And they're not even going in the same direction because he doesn't have reins. Look at the reins. They're coming from his mind. It's like these made up beliefs that he can control his situation. I think here that it's saying, you know, I think it's time to give up that control. I think your ego self has been trying to control this. There's a real control trying to push this down for so long, your emotions. And I need one more card because I lost one along the way. And I get two. And you get the Three of Pentacles here. Three of Pentacles, because this is a healing journey. It talks about these individuals that are creating something, co-creative card. They're creating together. This is my therapy card. And I'm wondering here if it's time for you to go back to therapy, to get into therapy if you've never had it. Maybe you need to change your therapist if you're not, you know, you've been with one for a long time maybe, and you think, oh, maybe it's time. But there's a call here for you to get some help, to get back in your body, to learn how to ground yourself, and to start to feel some of these emotions. And the last card that came in sideways here, the Ace of Pentacles. I just said it's time for you to get therapy, to get back in your body. And here's the offer from the universe. The Pentacle. The Pentacle is your body. The Ace of Pentacles is all about, you know, it's the beginning of discovering your body again. You have two cards here on this table. One that came from a random deck, the Ace of Cups, which is the offer or gift from the universe that says, here's your emotions. But you got to get back in your body. You got to learn how to ground yourself. Get back in your body. There's a huge fear here. You did not come from a safe environment. You did not know who you were. You shut down your emotions when you were very young. And it's time now to start to, you know, open up that Pandora's box and start to feel. And so I'm going to leave you with a playlist on fear that I've done from my other channel called Carol Cares. I'm going to leave you with a playlist on grounding. I teach you how to ground. Bring you in my backyard and I teach you how to ground. And it's very helpful because I use that all the time. I ground every day. I have to get back into my body because I came from a childhood where there was no safety at all. And so I do go back up in my head all the time because it was not safe for me to be in my body when I was young. So I want you to have compassion for yourself for what you're working through, Leo. This is a very difficult journey when you want to heal yourself, but it's the most important journey of your life. So take care and I'll talk soon. Bye.